Happy Saturday to everybody. This is Tenacious Earl, and this is the Tabletop Baseball Plus channel. Um, it's cooled off here in the Delaware Valley, and but we're gonna make the trek back to 2008 in the summer, August 20th to be exact, and that's when we're gonna pick up this 2008 Phillies replay. Phillies, as people who have followed this replay know, the Phillies won the World Series that year, and after completing a fiction, well, I would say it's not fictional, but a sort of a project where I took 10 teams and randomly from the 2015 season, I decided back in March of last year that the next project I would do would be a replay of the 2008 Philly season, and it's been an adventure, to say the least, but we're at game 126. So about 36 games to go or so, 36, 37, something like that. And that only includes the regular season. We will do playoffs if we get there. Phillies are looking better and better for that. As anybody who's followed this knows, I've had I've had my reservations about how this has gone, whether or not it would, because the Phillies have looked down and out some at times. They are 2.5 back of, actually two back of the Marlins at this point, because I know that the Marlins lost this game day on the simulation. So now Atlanta did win, so I think Atlanta may have pulled even with them. So you got Atlanta and the Marlins ahead of the Phillies in the lineup or in the standings, but Phillies have been playing pretty well. Hi, Tribe fan. Good morning. And this is a matchup that I think we may have had on the channel before. Let me see. Trying to recall if this pitching matchup was. I could tell pretty quickly if it was or not. Well, quickly is. No, I would have played this offline, but the Nationals beat the Phillies 10-1 in this very matchup. Colin Ballister against Brett Myers. That was at Nationals Park. This is Citizens Bank Park. We haven't ruled for the weather yet. Hi, Larry. But in game one of this series, the Phillies actually put a pounding on the Nationals. The final score was 16-4. They chased Jason Bergman. In the fourth inning, it was 6-0 after 2, but I tried to get him some innings, and he got up to the fourth inning and then had some struggles there. So a couple home runs for Pat Burrell in that game. Home run for Jason Worth, home run for Ryan Howard. I think that was a 3-run homer. So, and a couple home runs for Dobbs and Coast back to back later in the game to get that particular result. We'll see if it happens. It's probably not going to happen here, but real life, it was a 4-0 win for the Phillies. So, see that currently the record for the Nationals is 45-81. So another loss, and they will assure themselves they will not have a winning season. And they still have 30 some odd games to play. Phillies at 67-58. They are at or slightly above their pace, but so aren't the Marlins and the Braves. So let's check the weather today. It's a night game. So, and it's a 10, so it's going to be average conditions. So 10 for lefties, 7 for righties on singles, and for both sides of the plate, it'll be 13. Okay, so we're gonna get rolling here. A little bit of lead in, but let's. And I'll probably stay on a little bit after to talk for a minute about some things. So for the Nationals, they will lead off with Emilio Bonifacio, who they got in a trade with Arizona at the deadline. So he'll play at second base. Willie Harrison left, Ryan Zimmerman at third, Lastings Millage center field, Ronnie Belliard first base. It's funny. 2 through 5, I realized that they all have double letters in the middle of their name. It's kind of funny. But anyway, Jesus Flores catching, Austin Kearns in right. Anderson Hernandez, a guy they just called up, shortstop, his rating is pretty poor. 3 range is average, but an 88 air rating. So any X chance that goes to his bag is going to be a little bit of an adventure for him. And Colin Ballister pitching, and so Larry says he ordered the night. That's one of the things I'm going to talk about a little later is Strat opening day. But we'll get started with this. Brett Myers, the pitcher for the Phillies. Colin Ballister will take the mound for the Nats in the bottom of the inning. So here we go. Bonifacio leading off. And Brett Myers gets him to strike out on the 3-5, and that is 1 away. So both pitchers are righties. Lefty Willie Harris with 1 out. There's a 3-7. He's going to get one through for a single. And the speedster will try to get a lead here with 1 out. Let's see, Zimmerman. And with 1 out, no hit and run on here. We're just going to try and see if he can get a lead. And he does. So Myers is a +2. And his good number is 18. Good lead number 18. It's going to be a 1-19. That will be the calculation. So he's going to take this bag, barring, oh boy, got a 19. Coast is catching. He's +2. Brett Myers' hold is +2. So the 18 + 4 is 22. You subtract 2, 1 to 20. The highest range you can have is 95%. So with 1 out and a runner at second, it'll be Ryan Zimmerman. And Zimmerman, another 3-7, and that's another single. That is to left, and they will send Harris, even though there is only 1 out. 16, the Phillies won't even throw home, so RBI for Zimmerman, and it's 1-0. They throw into second to keep Zimmerman at first, and that brings up Lasting's Millage. Against a righty, 6-5, and that's going to be a grounder to Rollins, over to Utley, and on to Howard for the double play. 1 run, 2 hits, and nobody left. That's an interesting name. Bonjour indeed. All right, so on to the Phillies half of the first. It'll be Rollins at short, Jason Worth in right, Chase Utley second base, Ryan Howard at first, Pat Berlin left, Shane Victorino center, Greg Dobbs third base, Chris Coast catching, and again Brett Myers batting ninth pitching, and it'll be Colin Ballister. Oh yeah, Tito Francona, yes. Obviously Terry Francona. There's another 3-5. That will be a grounder to first. So Rollins will be out. Terry Francona was a manager for the Phillies for a few years there at the late 90s, early 2000s. Not terribly effective. He became much more effective when he got to the Red Sox and Indians. 210. That'll be a 110 double for Worth. It's going to see if that can get cut off in the gap, and it can't. So Worth will cruise into second base, and that brings up Jason Utley. Had Jason Worth and Chase Utley on the mind. Chase Utley could try to. Let's see. Ballister too good of an arm to really try to steal third. So let's see what Utley can do here against the righty. 2-7. That's gonna be a walk. I'm looking off the wrong card there. So that's gonna bring up Ryan Howard with 2 on and 1 out. First and second, and here is Howard. Against the lefty, 5-3, a fly ball to right. This will be Austin Kearns with a 3 E8. 3 and a 20. That's going to be a shallow fly that he gets to. Now the E8 and a 7. I believe he will make the play. I'll confirm that. E8 and 7. Yes. So that'll be caught, and that'll be out number 2. And I'll bring up Pat Burrell. So Pat the bat, 2 outs, 2 on, and he has another walk here in the inning. So Ballister with some control problems, and it's going to bring up Shane Victorino with the bases juiced, with a chance to maybe put a little charge into this crowd here at Citizens Bank Park. So let's see what happens. Victorino against Ballister. Victorino hitting from the left side of the plate. Well, it's 3-9. 3-9 is going to be a grounder right back to Ballister, and Ballister is able to get it to first in time, and they strand all 3. Going to the second inning. 1-0 Nationals, and it will be Ronnie Belliard first. Up here in the second. And he's going to hit a which will be fielded by Greg Dobbs, and he throws over to Howard in time. Belliard, not a whole lot of speed there. Jesus Flores, he's going to hit it to Howard, and Howard is just going to take it there himself. Flores, the catcher, not so. Against a righty, 5-9, and he goes down on strikes. And so Myers with a good, clean inning there, just what he needed. Now he's got to hope his offense starts coming through in the clutch situations here instead of falling short. So here's Dobbs. And that's a grounder to first, and Dobbs not a great runner. We're going to have, see Ronnie Belliard take it over to the bag himself for 1 out. Chris Coast, 3-6, that's a single. The 3 is pretty active here in this game. Myers, a C bunter. They're going to expect it, going to make him a D. He's still going to try. So, D9. It's 1 and 2. They will have him square around again, and a potential wild pitch here in the 2-strike pitch. So 1-10 for Ballister on the wild pitch. And it's a 10, so he will move up. Coast will. So with a runner at second, Myers will just swing away now with 2 strikes. 2-12, that's a grounder to short. The runner won't be able to advance, but that will be out number 2. As Hernandez throws over to first, and wait, what am I doing? Got a little. All right, so Jimmy Rollins with 2 outs and tying run at second base, and I just. Against batting from the left, 4-6, he pops it tall, and that's going to be a harmless pop-up that is caught by Emilio Bonifacio, and Ballister has the Phillies number here so far in 2008. No runs, 1 hit, and they leave their 4th runner on the game. Hernandez will lead off for the Nats. 90 grounds to pitcher Myers, and Myers just eases his way over to the bag and underhands it in time. So Ballister with pitcher's hitting card number 2 with 1 out. 3-8, that's going to be a grounder to Dobbs, and Dobbs gets his 2nd assist of the game. And Emilio Bonifacio, who struck out in the 1st, and he is going to get a hit. 60 nail, a double, And so it's going to bring up Willie Harris, who singled and scored in the first. Runner at second base, 2 outs. Can they convert where the Phillies haven't been able to? 2-4, no, that's a grounder to Howard, and Howard will take care of that, so they leave a runner stranded, and the Phillies will come up in the bottom of the third, down 1-0. All right, so it'll be 2-3-4 here for the Phillies. Jason Worth, who doubled in the first, 4-3 against a righty. That's a ballpark single for right-handers. It's 1-7. 10, that'll be a line out to Hernandez for out number 1. Sharp shot, but right at him. Here is Utley. 3-5, a 1-3 home run chance. This is deep, but probably looks like it's going to be off the top of the wall here. No, it's a 1. It is gone. Home run, Chase Utley. And he ties the ball game with 1 swing of the bat. So that gives Phillies fans a little bit of life here in the stadium. They've been a little bit bummed out in the first 2 innings. Ryan Howard now, Phillies tied up 4-7 against a lefty. That's a walk. And it'll be Pat Burrell. Against a righty, 6-7, strikes him out. So with 2 outs, it'll be Victorino, who grounded out with the bases loaded in the first. Trying to maybe get something going here with a runner on first and 2 away. But he's going to ground it right back to Ballister. And again, 2 of those for him. They do pick up the tying run. And we'll go to the 4th, 1-1. Okay, Ryan Zimmerman with an RBI in the first there, single. He will lead off here against Myers. And he strikes out to lead off the 4th. Lasting's Millage now. Grounded into a double play to end the first. That will be a single, so he's now 1 for 2. And Millage will try to get a lead here. 2-5, 11 or 12 gets him a shot. And it's 12, so he will. That's again going to be a 1-19 roll, so only a 20 does them in. That's a stolen base for Millage. Could have potentially hit and run here with Belliard instead, but we'll let Belliard swing away here. Against a righty, 4-6, and that is a single to left. Same situation as earlier. And Millage not as fast. They will send him, and the Phillies are going to throw in to second, and that will be run number 2. Washington takes the lead here in the 4th. Jesus Flores. Belliard at first. I don't think Belliard. Well, with this combo, it's worth seeing if he can roll a 7 here. And let's see, do they have D hit and run with Flores? Gets a 5, so he's not going to be able to steal. So Flores at the plate, he has had the Phillies number here this season. Against a righty, 6-5, that's a grounder to short, and that is going to be a 6-4-3 inning ender. But they do get the go-ahead run as Millage comes in to score. Belliard, the run batted in, and we go to the bottom of the 4th with a 2-1 Nationals lead. Now the Dauber coming up here. Great against righties, not so great against lefties. But he's going to hit a fly ball into middling center. Not much needs to be done for this one as Millage gets underneath it. Chris Coast singled in the second against a righty. 4-11, fly ball to left. Harris, pretty good fielder out there in left. 2-E6. 2-10, he'll get under it. And a 14. Well, that is 14 total on an E6 for Harris. And that's a 2-base error, so spoke a little soon. Coast will take second on an E7. So that's going to bring up Myers with runner second, and basically a similar situation to what he had in the second inning. He'll swing away, but a 3-10, that'll be a grounded to third. Runner can't advance as Zimmerman throws over to Belliard for the second out. And J-roll, see if he can punch one through and get Coast home. 3-9, and that's a grounder to second. We have been getting a lot of threes, so that's going to be taken by Bonifacio and thrown over to first, and the rally is snuffed out. No harm, no foul on the air by Willie Harris. And we'll go to the fifth with 2-1. So Austin Kearns, and that's a 1-3. That would have been a nice time for one of those threes, but a 1-3 is a ballpark single for a righty, 1-7. And it's an 8. That will be a liner caught by Rollins, 1 out. Anderson Hernandez, another 3-7. That'll be a fly ball to center. That'll be caught by Victorino, out number 2. Ballister, giving up some runners, but that'll be a strikeout. So 1-2-3 for Myers in the fifth. Still 2-1. Hasn't gotten run support. And Ballister is just getting enough run support. So bottom of the fifth. And it will be Worth, Utley, and Howard. Big guys coming to the trough. So here we go. Another 3, a 3-2. That's a walk. It's funny how you'll get games like that where dice just seem to have a see to do that. So Worth the first on the walk, and let's see, Ballister -2, Flores 0. So that would be a 115 if Worth can get a lead. They are going to have to hold him on. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to hit and run with Utley here. So Utley, because they're holding on Worth, he's going to be an A hit and run guy. And a 4-4 against a lefty. That's a catcher X. So Flores, a 4-E2. 4-14. That's a potential passed ball. We'll go to the E2 and just see what comes up here. No error. So we check on the passed ball, which comes off of Ballister's wild pitch number, which is a 10. So 1-10 a passed ball. Otherwise, it will be a foul out. And it's an 8, so that is a passed ball. So Worth takes second. They're going to take off the hit and run now. So runner on second, nobody out, and Utley at the plate. 2-2, 1-15 single. That would make it first and third with nobody out. Otherwise, there'll be a line out to second. And there's a 9. That's a single. So Howard coming to the plate with runners at the corners and no one out. So Ryan Howard, can he tag one here? Let's see. The Nationals are going to play back and hope for a two-turner here. 1-8, and that is going to be a fly ball to center field B question. So that's one where you want to look at Worth and the center fielder. Millage -1 arm. worth a 13. Add 2 because that's how you calculate it. So 13 plus 2 is 15, then subtract 1. 1 to 14 chance. They're going to send them. There's going to be a play at the plate. 1 to 14. And it's 4. It's going to be good. And Utley is not going to advance, but that will be a sac fly for Howard, and the game is tied. So credit Howard with an RBI, and everything's all square at 2. And Utley still at first. With 1 out. You see if he can get a lead here. He can't, and so the double play could be in order with slow Pat Burrell at the plate. 2-9. That's a strikeout. 1 away from ballpark home run chance. So that's unfortunate for the Phils. And Shane Victorino with 2 outs. Love to see a triple out of him here, eh? Runner first. It's a 6-7. I think that's a walk. Lefty. No, it's a strikeout. Let's see. 5th inning, 1-2. That's it. So no weakness. That will be a strikeout, and that ends the inning. But they do level it on the sacrifice fly. Just deep enough. And Myers will come back out for the 6th. High statistician. Well, Frenchie, I'll tell you what. I wish I knew a little more French. I did take it in high school, and I took a semester in college, but it's been a long time. So, you know, I could... what is it? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember even the stuff for how are you doing. It's I can remember comment vous appelez-vous. That's what's your name. That's not going to help anything. I remember comme si comme ça is like so-so or something like that. But yeah, I'm to cram. I think when I crammed tabletop rules into my head, I think that's one of the things that probably got ejected out the side. was my français. So Bonifacio leading off here, top of the order, batting from the left. 4-4. Dobbs not a great fielder there. 4 range E13. But a 17, he will get to it. He dives. Can he make the throw? E13, 11, and he does not. It's a little wide. Pulls Howard off the bag, and that will be an error on Dobbs to start the 6th. Giving away runners here. That's not the way you want to play the game. Feliz just came off the disabled list, but not ready to start this game. So Bonifacio, let's see. Yeah, he's going to try to get a lead here. Oh boy, could get picked off. 1 to 13, he's in safe. 14 to 20, and he is in safe, but he doesn't get a lead. So let's see. That's a 1 to 13 chance. We may do that later. Well, since they're holding him on, they'll hit and run with Harris. B hit and run. B8. And that's going to be a grounder to second, so the runner will move. And that brings up Zimmerman. I just lost my... There we go. Zimmerman at the plate. Go ahead run at second base. Against a righty 5-2. That's a grounder to Utley. 2, let's see, they holding Bonifacio. At second, they would be, and so that makes Utley a 3 E14. But a 3 and a 17 will be able to get to that. And the E14, 12, that means he will make the play, but the runner will advance. So with 2 outs, Lastings. French is difficult. It probably is, but that's no excuse for me. Lastings Millage. 2-3, that is the anti-clutch. 2-3, that is going to be a pop-up to Rollins, and that will end the inning. So Phillies catch a break there. No runs, no hits, 1 error. They leave him stranded at third. Millage can't come through in the clutch, so Ballister is going to come out for the 6th. A hit and or 2 hits, 2 walks, or a combination of those 2 would make him tired. So they're going to start with Dobbs here. He'll lead off the bottom of the 6th. 2-2 game here at CBP. 5-10 against a lefty grounder to that's Hernandez. Grounder to short. 3E88. The 3 and a 15, he will get to it. Now here's E88. This is the highest number shortstop roll you can have, and that's a 12. 88 and 12 is going to be an error. So E6, he reaches. Now the Nationals are going to start looking to their bullpen. They used some guys in the last game because it got out of hand quickly. They used Charlie Manning for a couple of batters. They used Jesus Colon for a couple batters, and then Garrett Mock for 2 innings. Steven Shell for 2 innings. So Mock and Shell are probably not available. They're going to get Marco Estrada warming up. So it brings up Chris Coast. He will... And let's see. I guess they're going to stick with Myers, so he'll be swinging away here. 3-7. That's a fly ball to center and will be caught. 3-8 is not so much. So Myers at the plate. He'll be bunting. He's going to be a D bunter. D8. I think that is a 1 and 2 again. It is. So they will hold the bunt on with the runner at first. Come on, low numbers. And there's a 2. D2. That is a speed roll. So Myers gets a 1 to 10 chance, correct? Let's see, speed. Chance to beat out a roll to the 20 side. It falls within the running range. It's a single. 1 to 10. It's a 17, so that will be a successful sacrifice as it is fielded by Belliard, and he underhands it to Bonifacio. Coast does get to second. Myers almost beats it out. So Jimmy Rollins with a runner. They're going to let Ballister try to get himself out of this jam. 2 outs. Runner at second. And J-Roll at the plate. 3-8. Another 3. And another fly ball that will be caught, this time by Harris. And that goes by the wayside again. And Phillies have 8 guys on so far. Myers will come in to pitch the 7th. This will be his inning of weakness, potentially. And here is Belliard to lead off against the righty. 2-3, a walk. Not a way to start the inning. He's let a couple leadoff guys get on. Belliard, with Myers not being a great hold guy, he's going to try to get a lead here. 7. Needs a 7, gets an 11, so nothing. Brings up Jesus Flores. Love to get him to ground into a double play. 3-6. That's a strikeout. That will work as well. Kearns, 0 for 2. 6-12 against a righty. That is a ballpark home run shot. 1-13, and it is not going to go on the 15. That will stay in the park, be caught by Burrell, and that'll be out number 2. 6-12. And, yeah, the Phillies dodge a bullet there. It falls short of the fence. So, 2 outs, Anderson Hernandez. Let's see, Belliard, and he's the 6th. He's not trying to steal even with. They're not holding him on with 2 outs, so he could potentially go. That makes him a 1-10, but we're not going to do that. 1-3, that's a walk. And with 2 on and 2 out, it's going to bring in a pinch hitter. And the Nationals will go to Marco Estrada out of the pen. They will, they're going to bring in Ryan Langerhans to hit for Ballister, so. Phillies will roll the dice here, literally, and see if Myers can get Langerhans out. 1-6, that's a grounder to Myers, and that will end the inning as he throws over to Howard, and the Phillies get out of a little bit of trouble there. So Colin Ballister will get a no decision, and Marco Estrada will come in to face Worth. Let's see. Their only lefty out of the pen is Charlie Manning. So they're going to stick with Estrada. So Estrada is going to come in and pitch the bottom of the 7th. So he'll face Worth, Utley, and Howard. And the Phillies are going to get some work going in the pen. It's going to be Ryan Madsen and J.C. Romero. All right, Jason Worth against a righty, 5-9. That one is out of here. That is a home run on 5-9. It's gone, and that breaks the tie. So, what a roll. Home run for Jason Worth, and that makes it 3-2. Phillies on top right now. So Chase Utley. They're going to stick with Estrada, I guess. 2-9, that's a fly ball to right, and that'll be caught. 1 out. That'll be Kearns who gets that. Ryan Howard. 2-8, strikes out. And now with 2 outs, it'll be Pat the Bat Burrell. .6-3 against a righty. And that is a fly ball to right field X. So that's going to be Kearns. 3-8. 3-19. He will get under that easily. In E8 and an 8, I think he makes play on that. He does, and that will be it. But they do get the go-ahead run as Worth goes yard, and the Phillies will, they're going to go to their bullpen. So, I call on Ryan Madsen. He'll face the top of the order here. So Bonifacio will face Madsen. They still have Romero up in case they need a left-hander. That's a 6-8. Batting from the left, that's a single. So a rough start there for Madsen, and it's going to be Willie Harris. The Phillies are going to get Air and Cianez up as well. So Willie Harris. Well, first things first, Bonifacio is going to try to get a lead here. 2 through 9, he can get it. And it is a 5, so he does get the lead. 15, so they're holding him. That makes it 13, but then you add 4. 1 to 17 chance for him. That's 8, so he will steal second. And so Willie Harris, runner in scoring position, they're going to go ahead and let Madsen pitch to him. 3-8, grounder to first. It's going to get the runner over, so only play for Howard is to take it to the bag quickly. But let's see. That's going to bring up Ryan Zimmerman with Bonifacio 90 feet away, 1 out. And Zimmerman, against a righty, 4-6, strikes out. 2 outs, Lastings Millage. Can Madsen navigate through this 8th inning? 3-11, that's grounded to first, and Howard is able to underhand it to Madsen covering, and that ends the inning. So Madsen makes a bit of an adventure, but the Phillies will be able to call on Brad Lidge for the bottom of the 9th, or for the top of the 9th. And that will be that should be their out policy as far as that goes, if all goes well. So bottom of the 8th, the Nationals will stick with Estrada. And let's see. You know what? They're going to go back to the pen. They're going to go to, let's see, Jesus Colome. And so Colome will face Victorino, Dobbs, and Coast. Victorino first, and that's a strikeout. So 1 out, Greg Dobbs. 3-7. That's a fly ball to center, caught out there by Millage. 2 outs. And Chris Coast. And he'll single, and that will bring up the pitcher spot. And the Phillies will have Jeff Jenkins come in. And so Colome will pitch to Jenkins. Coast at first, 2 outs, no real speed there. So against the lefty, 4-10. Ballpark single, 1-10 on the left-hander. And it will get in there. So first and second with 2 outs. That's going to bring up at the top of the order Jimmy Rollins, who is 0 for 4. Can he get his act together here against Colome? 2 outs, first and second. But a 3-9, he's gotten so many threes in this game. That's going to be a grounder to Bonifacio, who throws to first, and that will be it. So the Phillies will take a slim margin to the 9th. And they're going to bring in Lidge. They're also going to make a defensive substitution. They will they are going to leave Jenkins in the game in right, move Worth to left, and put Lidge in to pitch. So let's see. So Burrell is out. And we will look up the numbers if we need them. I know Jenkins is a 3-1 E11. So Worth is the same in left. So I'll just remember that. But here we go. So Ronnie Belliard going to lead off against the Phillies closer, and they've got Pete Orr and Christian Guzman they can call on here, and I think they will. The one good thing about a guy like Guzman is that he's a switch hitter, so that can help. So they're going to go Guzman. Lidge's real trouble spot is the 4 column against lefties. So Christian Guzman will lead off here for the Nationals in the top of the 9th. Lidge trying to get the save. Don't need to roll the D20 yet. 1-4. This could tie it up. It's probably going to. It is going to be gone. And it is. Lidge blows another save. How about that? There is your 50% strat BS mechanic for you there. So there you go. It's Jesus Flores. We don't need that still. 6-7 against a righty, strikes him out. Couldn't have gotten that against couldn't have gotten that against the lefty, but oh well. Austin Kearns, another 6-7. That's another strikeout. And now Anderson Hernandez. Well, Orr doesn't really have much power, so they're going to stick with Hernandez. He's a switch hitter as well. 2 outs. I mean, I'm shaking those things up. That's 3 6-7s in a row. So they do get the tying run. And let's see, what are the Nationals going to do? Colome can pitch 2 innings, and I guess he will. And let's see, how did this, let's see, we got Worth first. So Worth. All right, so Worth will face Colome. 3-3 game. Against a righty, 4-6, he strikes out. So now Chase Utley. The Nationals are going to call to the pen. They're going to bring in their lefty, Charlie Manning, to face Utley and Howard. So Utley will face Charlie Manning, the lefty. 6-7, a 1-3 triple chance. But it's an 18 fly ball left. That'll be out number 2, and we'll go to extras unless Ryan Howard can create some magic here. 3-4 strikes out, so we're going to go extras. Free baseball, and a disappointing outing there for Lidge as he doesn't get the job done. Facing 4 batters, he will stick in there. You know what? They're not gonna have him pitch another inning. So, and let's see. They will go with Rudy Cienez, and let's see, Guzman. Well, Guzman was playing first base here, just for the record. Well, he can't play first, so he's going to play short. And Hernandez... Can Hernandez play... Where did he go? What happened here? Did I take somebody out? Oh, his card's over there. So he can play second. Hernandez was last out, so second... All right, so what they're going to do is they're going to move. So Bonifacio is in left. I should have done this in the 9th, but it didn't really impact it too much. There were no X chances. So Bonifacio Wait a second. Wait a minute. Langer Hands isn't even in the game. What am I doing? Hold on. We got to do a little reverse engineering here. It's not optimal, but sometimes this kind of thing comes up. So we have Guzman. He had to play short. So that means Anderson Hernandez has to move to second base. Or you know what? We're just going to let Guzman play first. And you know what? We shouldn't do that, should we? Hmm. You know what? It's our replay. We can do it the way we want. We'll have him play first base. We'll just give him. He's gonna have the worst rating of all, and those probably don't come up. But okay, so that leaves us with. So Cianez will face pinch hitter Pete Orr. Apologies for the timing issues here. It's sometimes you just get going and you forget to do certain things. But Pete Orr will lead off here, pinch hitting. And 5-5 against a lefty. That's a grounder to Rollins. So Rollins 1E8, barring a bunch of high rolls here on the D6s, and he will make the play. So Orr is gone, and I think what we might do is, oh gee, he doesn't play first base either. How about that? All right, Bonifacio. 5-4 against a lefty. Fly ball to center, another good X chance. Victorino's 1E2. He gets to it, and he'll make the play for out number 2, and that's going to be Willie Harris, who I think Larry shares the last name. That might be why he's rooting for Harris a bit. 2 outs, top of the 10th. 4-7 against a lefty, and he's going to walk. And he will try to steal off Cianez. Cianez not very good at holding guys on, and he does get a lead. It's going to be 1-19. It's almost a no doubt. Oh! That will end the inning. Caught stealing on the 20. 1-19. You can't have a 1-20 stolen base. So that is that. Cianez gets through that 10th. And the they'll call on Saul Rivera, the Nationals. So Rivera and it's going to be a pinch hitter for so they took Burrell out, and so they will they'll give So Taguchi an opportunity here. Oh, I forgot to write something down. Cianez, and now Taguchi leading off here, pinch hitting. And that's going to be a fly ball to left, and it will be caught by Harris for out number 1. Shin Victorino against a lefty, 5-7, a grounder to second. Bonifacio, 3E30. 3-13, he'll get to it. E30 and 11. And he makes the play for out number 2. And it's going to bring up Greg Dobbs. Nobody on, 2 outs. Against a lefty, 4-6. That's a walk. And it's going to bring up Chris Coast. Dobbs, you know what? Dobbs will try to get a lead here. Needs a 6. Gets a 9, so nope. They're not holding him on. Chris Coast. Well, I'll tell you what, if they don't hold him on, Dobbs could try to get a steal there. 6 plus 5, because Rivera's a +8. That's an 11. 1 to 11 chance. We'll take that opportunity. 1 to 11. They're not holding him. And it's 11. He will steal it. So Coast with the winning run at second. Oh boy, and potential balk. 1 to 4. 6. Come on. 3-9. How about a 3-9? 3-4. That's a fly ball to right. Can't quite get it. That'll be caught this time by Kearns, and we're going to go to the 11th. So, yeah, Cianez, he's a one-inning guy, so they're gonna go to Scott Iyer, lefty. Actually, yeah, they will. Might be a mistake, but we'll live with it if it happens. So it'll be Zimmerman, Millage, and Guzman. Guzman, of course, the one who tied it up. Zimmerman first. 6-11 against a righty. That is a strikeout. 1 out. Lastings, Millage. Against a righty, 5-7, a 1 to 4 triple, the rest double, and that's a 4, a triple. So the Phillies don't have the luxury to load the bases here. It's not a walk-off situation. So Christian Guzman with Millage 90 feet away. They're going to play the infield in here, try to cut off the run at home. 4-11 against a righty. Another strikeout. That's a big out for Iyer. And now Jesus Flores, infield back here, going to try to cover up the gaps. Oh, potential wild pitch. 1 to 8. This would be a heartbreaker if this gets by Coast. It's a 10. That's a whew. Now you just got to get by Flores here with the lefty bat, or lefty arm. 4-7 against a righty. That's a strikeout. He strikes out the side and works around the triple with 1 out. And just to confirm to you what his right-handed card is pretty solid. That 5-7 is the only one that's now the 6 column isn't so good, but he got a 6-11, which is a K. There's a K with an at, but he hadn't reached his point of weakness. So we go to the bottom of the 11th, and Rivera will stay in the game. He'll face Jenkins, who came into the game as part of a he just stayed in the game after pinch hitting, getting a single. So the bottom of the 11th, Jenkins against Rivera. 1-5, and that's going to be a double unless a 20 comes up here. There's a 10. That's a double for Jenkins. The Nationals will pitch. Will they pitch to Rollins, or will they put him on? They're going to pitch to Rollins. Runner at second, nobody out. He could bunt. They're going to play with the corners in, but he's not going to bunt. against a lefty. 5-5 strikes him out. Out number 1, Jason Worth, who popped a home run in the 7th. Can he get this? Well, they're going to set up the double play with an intentional walk here. So they will take their chances against Utley and Howard. Runners at first and second. They'd love to get a double play. They're going to play with the infield back and, obviously look for 2 here. So Utley, 5-10 against a lefty. That's a grounder to short, and Hernandez is still there. Are they holding? Who is it? It's Jenkins. They're not holding him at second. So Hernandez is a 3E88. 3-17. He does get to it. Could be a double play ball if he doesn't err. 3-17 is a G1. Now the E88. And that's probably good. 15, that could be very good. And it is. They turn 2. That ends the inning. 6-4-3. And they get out of it. We're going to the 12th. So more heartbreak for the Phillies. They can't get that job done. And it'll be Kearns up to lead off the 12th for the Nationals. And Phillies are going to ask another inning out of Iyer here. So he's a 1-inning pitcher, but this could potentially be a long night. So let's see here. Against a righty, 6-6, that is a double. That 6 column with middling numbers is not so kind to Iyer. So Hernandez up, not a good bunter. Then they're going to play corners in. He's not going to bunt. So 6-4 against a righty, but that's the strikeout. So they get through that. That's 1 out. Now the pitcher spot. They will have Aaron Boone come in. They're going to get Joel Hanrahan warming up, their closer. Because Mock and Shell are both borderline to pitch today. So Boone, runner at second, 1 out. Against a righty, 5-5 strikes him out. Now with 2 outs, that's going to bring up Emilio Bonifacio. And, they're going to leave Iyer in to face him. So 2-5 strikes him out. Strikes out 6 here in his appearance. The only move that the Nationals would have had was Nieves. And that's not going to, I don't think that's wise at all. I think they'd have to do a lot of jiggling there to make that work. They could have brought in, they could have brought Nieves in to catch, I guess. But we'll go to the bottom of the 12th and a 0. So we've got zeros here and so it'll be zeros there, 10, 11, and half of 12. And it will be Joel Hanrahan coming in. And he can pitch 2 innings if he needs to. So Ryan Howard will be the first to face him. One-two, a ballpark shot. Could it go? This is a long drive way back. Needs a 1-13. And out of here. Game over. The Phillies are victorious. Ryan Howard with the trips aces. And, boy, if we could have gotten a 1 on that, that would have been pretty remarkable. But it is gone, and that is your ball game here From Citizens Bank Park, takes 12, but the Phillies are victorious. A big walk-off shot for Ryan Howard. 4-3 is your final. Victory will go to Scott Iyer, who pitched 2 really nice innings. Gave up a couple of extra base hits, but just overpowered the Nationals both those innings. The loss will go to Hanrahan. A tough way to go out. First batter, cranked, gone. But it was going to end sometime, and it ends on the positive side for the Fightins. So, see everybody's. I'm gonna put this. Give me a second here as I adjust my shot. I'm gonna do a little maneuvering, so bear with me. Talk, you guys. We've only been doing this about an hour. Man, the game felt longer than that. So, as you can see, you're getting to see a lot of that. Let's see if I do this. There we go. Have you ever seen my form? It's a little bit upside down in the way I have it hung, but that's my Sabres. What we used to call the Satanic Goat Head logo for them back in the days when they actually made the Stanley Cup Finals and lost to the Dallas Stars. So a really started out frustrating with a blown save from Lidge, but Ryan Howard saves the day. So walk-off win. First off, I just want to mention Strat-O-Matic Delaware. If you haven't seen his videos from Glenhead for Strat opening day, go check them out. He was able to document the day up there. Obviously, Ultimate Strat Baseball Network, I think, is going to have some video from that. It sounds like he posted a video. Mark did. Mark Wasserman from them. He's the primary. He's the guy who mostly runs that account on YouTube, Ultimate Strat Baseball Network. So he had some information about that. But I mean, it looked like a great day. I kind of, it's funny. I trade some messages here and there with RNGIDP, another channel. Check him out. He posts a lot of games for his project, but it's like part of me, I like being around people and stuff, but I don't know what it was about thinking about going up there. I think part of it is just I've got projects that I haven't really made a lot of ground on, and so to then go ahead and buy the new set right now, it just seems tough to do, and so to go up there, I'd basically be roping myself into that. And but I'll tell you what, seeing some of the videos, getting to see a lot of the people that were there, it looked like a really nice day. Maybe a little chance of rain, but I don't think it doesn't sound like it did too much, which is good. Looks like, I mean, what would be really neat is if there could be a way to get some people together during that time and kind of have a little. Maybe a tournament's too much to ask, but just play a few games. I mean, everybody would have to like break open their cards and start ripping them apart and stuff, and that may not be for everybody. It could take a little bit of time, but that would seem like a pretty cool thing to do. But I just want to mention that, like, Strat-O-Matic Delaware, Chris over there, so my brother and I, we do road trips for football games and to play golf and stuff like that, and to be able to have that as something that Chris could share with his brother. I mean, the hijinks that they were obviously having, it just makes me, kind of reminisce about some of the things I've done with my brother, and makes me think to myself, man, I wish my brother was into Strat-O-Matic, and maybe, but maybe there'll be a day when my son, it'd be something that we could kind of do and kind of go and hang out, meet some people, just kind of have a nice road trip for a day, take a day off from work and just kind of, enjoy the ride up and back. Again, another part of it's probably driving around New York City. It's a little daunting, but I mean, it happens once a year. I don't know. Maybe there'll be a time when some more of us, obviously, I mean, it looked like Espo was there. He probably is going to have some stuff about, I would imagine he'll crack open the set here at some point and show some numbers, which will be cool. Show some cards. Probably play a game or something. I think Chris at Stratomac Delaware has already started that. So, yeah, I mean, it's exciting to see sort of a new batch of statistical information get populated into these cards, and just start to run your imagination on how you might use those, whether it's in a league with other people, whether it's with a project, you're going to do a season replay, if you're going to do a replay of just a team from last year, World Series, playoffs, you name it, division. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff you can do. Yeah, Tribe Fan mentions about Strat posted pictures for the Yankees hired guns, Judge and Stanton. Judge was already there, so I mean, I guess they drafted him, so they have every right to him. But yeah, big cards, big day, a lot of excitement. I'm sure if you're a Yankees fan, it's something that you're really looking forward to seeing. I mean, probably Yankees fans are just as excited for, like they do this 365 baseball 365 or whatever it is, where the stats update every day. I mean, it's probably going to be a Yankee Stadium is probably going to be a slaughterhouse when it comes to like the baseball. There's going to be a lot of offense generated by those guys. Yeah, it's been you're right, Super Sport. You've got. Do I still believe in the Yankee strat rating bias? This is probably a year when they don't need to do it so much, because they'll probably end up with stats galore that will. But I don't know. I'm not sure if I believe in it. It's tough to tell. It's a theory. When you're not in the heat of the moment, you start to think to yourself, why would you potentially bring your process into ill repute by jerking around numbers? You'd really want to. You want people to believe in your process. You don't want people to start saying, man, this just doesn't play right. It's any of these projects here can feel really tough because Frenchie is hey Frenchie, I kind of like you, but anyway, yeah, I'll tell you what, you can come up with a conspiracy theory for just about anything you want if you want to be that wacky and wild, which I will admit is somewhat of a I don't want to say it is somewhat of a problem for me sometimes, but I will say, well, the statistical model, there's no conspiracy about that. That's just there are some deficiencies in the statistical model that when you get to certain situations, certain let's say guys that are almost like iconically unique in, for instance, not throwing walks. Like if a guy doesn't walk somebody, the 50-50 model is gonna be tough on him because you're gonna generate some walks based on the batter's cards. So there are some limitations when it comes to those things. But again, let's take this for example. Now you could argue Chase Headley we just saw him in the 2008 season playing for the Padres, and his numbers were not great. But now one could argue that maybe he got better as a fielder as time went on. Because I think for the Yankees, he's at least a 3 and probably a 2 range guy. Maybe his range got better, and it's possible. But I don't know. I do think that there is some... They have to use some license for their defensive ratings, because I think that's one way that they can help bring sort of... If you've got guys that are all great hitters and you've got some really good pitchers, but they just don't perform when it comes to like clutch situations, or they lose a lot of one-run games or something like that, something where your statistics might not, like, for instance, a team that has a run differential that is very good, but just they didn't get the results. They finished below 500, and things just didn't go their way. You might need those fielding ratings to help kind of skew it so you don't end up with a team that's overperforming. Well, I mean, the thing is that I don't think the fielding ratings, there is some data that you can use to generate those. What is it? Is it RTOT? I forget. There's some range. There's some like advanced statistics that you can use. Obviously, there is that stuff. There, you dig around on Baseball Reference and you can find, advanced metrics that will, sabermetrics that will, could bring you to some of these numbers, but I'm not sure that, I don't think you could look at those and strictly say, oh, this is the only criterion used for how somebody's defensive ratings go. So, again, this is not necessarily to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but you could have teams that maybe their numbers were not so good. Just a second, Super Sport. Maybe their statistics weren't so great as a team whole, but they had a better record, so you might give them some better range and stuff like that in order to kind of, help make sure that their record comes closer to where it needs to be when you play it out. Because, like I was experiencing early on, you really would not want to have fans of a team play your game and then like get disappointed routinely. And then, they're going to go say, what's wrong with your model? What are you doing? So, when we're talking this stuff here, like all of these guys, this is all going to be modeled off of their exact stats. It's going to be modeled off of this stuff down here. Granted, it's flipped because of my phone. Now, you're going to have some clutch things. Again, that's going to be probably, average with runners in scoring position and all that kind of stuff. We'll factor into those kinds of decisions. Probably somewhat eye test as well. I think defense is eye test. So Super Sport, 22,000 sounds like a gaming system, but no, that's cool. What is this a good place to ask about a possible project you want to do? Sure. We've got 10 people watching right now, and you've got some guys with experience with projects and running them. My experience is okay, but you've got some guys in here that Baseball Demos has done a ton of them. So, go for it. Have fun. I'm going to stick on here for a couple more minutes. So, you should get, I'll try to answer. Yeah, right. Itinerant hobbyist. It's like this. Okay, well, yeah. That's awesome, Super Sport. So I've got Super Sport, who is a long-time player. That's awesome. That is like super awesome. So welcome to the channel. Definitely go ahead and throw out your idea. What I might do is I might not actually describe it on the channel, because I kind of, I respect people's ideas. I mean, you're going to see 20 versions of Cleveland. Whew. That's sweet. But, you know, I kind of like to think of projects potentially as like intellectual property in a way. Like I'm a scientist. So I tend to view things, ideas, a little bit like that. So it may come across sometimes that I do that, you know. Now, there is some great advice, and let me repeat that, because that's demos. Any project is great. Just make sure it's fun for you, or you will get bored and not want to finish. That's true. And there are going to be times that you start a project that you think is going to be fun and games, and it turns out that it is a little bit of a, and you just have to stick through it. And maybe you have to take some breaks. Maybe you need to plan some breaks when things are going well, in the anticipation that things aren't going to eventually something's not going to go right. You're going to go on a losing streak, and that's when, you know, your project starts dragging on a bit. And you know, maybe if you are able to sort of squeeze in a couple days off when you're in the midst of a you know, like a 3 or 4 game winning streak, you say, you know what, I got 4 in a row here. Let's just take a little bit of a break. Even though I will say that there is also the mentality, man, I want to keep this going, but that's often when we get our hopes up, and it can be one of the more frustrating times. So that's I appreciate you saying that, Frenchie. I think I'm translating it as very good advice. That's my, again, I can remember bits of French. Just don't ask me to put together a question. I'm still trying to think of how to say, how are you doing? I keep having comment vous appelez-vous coming to mind, and that's like horrible. But I probably remember more of the swear words that, you know, we kind of like joked with each other after class. But anyway. Itinerant Hobbyist says that he plays many different games so he doesn't burn out. You can see this on my channel. Check out Itinerant Hobbyist. Itinerant. Does that mean, I guess that means you plan out your hobby. It has an itinerary. That's cool. To run. Okay, like I said, I'm just going to read it out loud, and I got to be careful. I like to give people the idea. You know, I don't want to have someone get their idea like it's their idea. Let them play it out and see how it works. Let me see. Wow. So I'm not sure how many teams you're talking about. Okay, yeah, goodbye, Frenchie. Have a good one. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so, okay, hobbyist. Yeah, right there you go. I mean, that's kind of the way I do, too, at times. That's probably a very normal thing for people like us, actually, to sort of get hot and cold and do all sorts of stuff. So, Super Sport, how many teams are you thinking? Because it's an interesting thing to do. So I guess you would sort of condense the teams into a certain smaller number, I guess, is kind of what you're saying. Not to give too much away. Okay, or I guess what you could do is you could pull in a bunch from a bunch of different eras or whatever. Yeah, that would be part of my question, but I guess that way you could. I mean, I guess you could have you could have multiple lineups in a way, like you could, or you could have a lot of, you could sort of have a lot of combos. You could almost think of it as sort of like an all-star team in a way, I guess, and you could mix and match quite a bit, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, I think give it a shot, and don't be a stranger. Report back how things are going, because it'd be interesting to hear how you kind of put that together and see how things mesh. I guess that would be my question. Would be, how many would you typically end up using? I would assume then you would be not using a DH probably. But it would also potentially give you the opportunity to change a bunch of, do like a bunch of pitching changes. Like if you wanted to match up, if you wanted to be really if you wanted to manage like lefty righty stuff a lot more, I mean, that would give you the opportunity to do that. I mean, it's an interesting, it's definitely an interesting idea. It's I'm sure that you have considered it a lot longer than I have here for the 2 or 3, 4 or 5 minutes. That I've had a chance to look at. But I think, as Baseball Demo said, if it's something that's going to, I personally, after doing this replay, I've decided that I really need to have, there needs to be some element of fantasy to it. Like the Tenacious Leagues, if you look at the Tenacious Strat channel sometime, that was 10 random teams, and so you had some matchups that happened, but you had some in a year that didn't happen. So the 2015 season, I'm trying to think back. I mean, obviously you had like a bunch of AL Central teams. There was the White Sox and the Royals and the Twins and the Tigers that were in that. You also had, I'm trying to think back to all the teams that were in that. Where were the NL? Oh, you had the Cubs. You had the Brewers. I said the Brews. I was going to say the Brew Crew. I got between Brew Crew and Brewers. Dodgers. So, did the Tigers and Dodgers ever face themselves that season? I can't remember. Like in 2015, they probably didn't. Well, they faced each other in my league. So it was something that was hypothetical, and it had a little different structure, and so it like captivated me. And that's kind of what you're talking about there. Again, I don't want to give away too much like on video, because I figure I like ideas to be sort of like someone's little baby, and it's theirs, and they think it is the cutest thing in the world, and they usually are pretty cute, but sometimes they aren't. But it's okay. The beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And but I think that sounds like an interesting thing, and if you're like me, you like to have something that is going to keep your attention. So, yeah, Tribe Fan, I don't want to go on too much longer. I just figured that I haven't been on the channel here much lately. I think it's been 3 or 4 days since I produced a video. But this one was a little longer, but it was a lot of fun. So just, again, finish it off always by saying enjoy your tabletop sports. And honestly, it's something that I sort of co-opted from when, and it's something that I and other people used when I did a soccer podcast. We'd be, saying enjoy your footy or whatever. And it's kind of like enjoy your, I think it's great. Whatever you're going to do, when we're in a hobby or we're in something that's a pursuit, enjoy it. And if you're not, there are other games, there's other sports, there's other things. Sometimes you just need a break. So anyway, thanks a lot. Going to sign off. Phillies victorious in 12. Win 4-3 on a Ryan Howard walk-off home run. Till next time, this is Tenacious Earl for Tabletop Earl. Thanks a lot for watching, and have a great weekend.